The Toronto Raptors are about to go all in. Reports are coming out that they have given the most competitive offer for NBA superstar Kevin Durant, and the question now becomes, can they actually pull it off? And no offense to Raptors fans, but the first team I think of when I think of a team that's ready to trade for a 37-year-old on the last leg of his career, it's not the Toronto Raptors. There are, however, rumors of a very strong package put on the table by the Raptors, and if they do bring in Kevin Durant, they've got a good core of Scottie Barnes, Grady Dick, now Brandon Ingram. RJ Barrett would probably be on the way out the door, but they also have that number 9 overall pick in the draft. Would Kevin Durant in Toronto actually work out? The short answer is it could, but the long answer is much more complicated than that. Kevin Durant, like we said, is 37 years old. He just averaged 26.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 0.8 steals in 36 minutes. So maybe he's not the average 37-year-old, but at the end of the day, he is still 37 years old. He's on a 1-year expiring contract worth about $54 million this year. So first things first, you have to match salary, which means you have to give away a couple of good players. Then you probably have to add in draft compensation. And while yes, Kevin Durant, maybe the most gifted scorer of our generation, he shot 53% from the field and 43% from 3 last year on 6 attempts. He's still 37. He's going to be really old. I don't think that's the best way to go about building this Raptors team. I mean, realistically, does Scottie Barnes, Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, Jakob Poeltl, and Kevin Durant win an NBA championship? I don't think so. This is the kind of move you make when you're one move away and need that veteran to come in and give you the extra boost. And yes, this veteran is an all-time scorer. Still, he's too old, and I don't really think this is the move. However, the Raptors seem to think this is the move. They really want to go in on this because the trade package that they're offering is reportedly really competitive. It starts with RJ Barrett, who is probably the second best player that these Suns can get back other than Jalen Green in trade talks. He's averaging 21.1 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, 5.4 assists, and 0.8 steals in 32 minutes last year in his first full season in Toronto. He shot 47% from the field and 35% from 3 on 5.3 attempts a night, and that was the second highest three-point percentage of his career, which is a good sign. Like we said, he's still 24 years old, and this was his best season as a slasher as well. He was able to get downhill and efficiently finish around the rim, as well as finding his teammates. He's 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, so at the end of the day, he could be a big guard. Even as a 2, he could be a big guard and be that secondary creator in an offense. Maybe you play him at the point alongside of Devin Booker, and if you're the Suns, I think if you get RJ Barrett as well as Immanuel Quickley, that's probably a deal you go ahead and accept, with maybe a little bit more draft compensation being thrown on later. As for Immanuel Quickley, he kind of had a sneaky good year last year, going into a season where he will be 25 years old. Last year, he averaged about 17.1 points per game, 5.8 assists, 3.5 rebounds in 28 minutes. Only playing 33 games, so a small sample size, and that could be why we see the field goal percentage down a little bit. Shot 42% from the field, 38% from 3 on about 7 attempts per game. So would love to definitely see that go up. He's inefficient as a small guard at 6'2". He's got to be a little bit more efficient, but he does have a 6'8" wingspan, so he can play bigger than 6'2" defensively. The big problem with Immanuel Quickley, at least in the Raptors' point of view, he's on a 4-year, $162 million deal. They gave him a bag. And while that will help with matching salaries, maybe Phoenix isn't too excited to bring him back. But we have seen the Raptors make this kind of move before. A move to go all in and win in the playoffs. Masai Ujiri is not afraid to make a move like this. However, I feel like these are two completely different scenarios. When they brought in Kawhi, they had been the first seed before in the East for a couple of years. They had been really competitive. It was just they couldn't get past LeBron. They haven't even made the play-in this situation. And then bringing in a 37-year-old Kevin Durant, I mean, that essentially closes your championship window without even opening it. Now, the Raptors do have a lot of draft capital. We talked about Scottie Barnes is still extremely young, and we'll talk about him a little bit more later in this video, but they have all their first-round picks from now until 2030, including this year's first-round pick, which in a draft class that is pretty solid, you can get a lot with that number 9 overall pick. And now, taking a look at some of the options, if Con Knipple somehow slides all the way down to 9, that'd be the first pick here. Now, I doubt it because Con is probably going to end up going top 5 or 6 in this draft, but with some reports of guys slipping and of draft stock rising and falling, maybe Con ends up here at 9. However, like I said, I doubt it, but if he does, pairing Con Knipple and Grady Dick. That's a fantastic white boy duo in Toronto. Kaman Malawach could very well be the pick here if they decide to send Jakob Poeltl to Phoenix instead of maybe Emmanuel Quickley. And Malawach is right now a rim-running, rim-protecting big, but he has shown signs of hitting the three ball. Derek Queen could very well be there at number 9 when you look to make a pick. And this pick has been rumored to be sent to Phoenix. I don't see why you would do that. You can get too much talent here, and I'd probably rather have 15 years of this guy that they're going to take at 9, whether it be Queen, Richardson, whoever, instead of like 2 years of Kevin Durant, or maybe just 1. Jace Richardson is another prospect they could look at 9, but he's only 6'2", so if you don't trade quickly, I don't think it's a great idea to bring in 2 6'2" guards and having them play together. And then the latest riser has been Noah Essenio from overseas. He plays in Germany, but he's from France originally, and this could be a Raptors type of pick. Very well could be a Masai Ujiri type of pick, a 6'10" kid that can run the floor and can also shoot the three ball a little bit. Think of Tijan Salon, but he's good at basketball. Then you got Brandon Ingram, who they just brought in at the deadline this year for a very, very cheap price. They went out and got a former All-Star for essentially Bruce Brown and a pick swap. He's on a 3-year, $114 million deal that he just signed and extended to here in Toronto, and bringing a guy in that averaged 22.2 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and a steal, and had maybe his best season as a pro, is very promising for a Raptors team, especially they had to give up Bruce Brown, who probably wasn't even going to be here this year if, he stuck around. Ingram shot 47% from the field and 37% from 3 on 6.7 attempts per game, which is the second highest of his career, and when taking 5 or more attempts from 3 per game, that is the highest he's ever shot. You pair that with Scottie Barnes, who is just 6'7", but he's got that ridiculous +8, 7'3" wingspan. That's a good duo to have, right? Scottie can play the point. You can play him at the forward, wherever you want him to play. He just averaged just shy of 20 points a game, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.4 steals, and a block. He's a really solid defender. And while, yes, he's still developing as an NBA player, where he only shot 27% from 3 last year on 3 attempts a game, he did shoot 45% from the field, so that is decent, I guess. Grady Dick, another guy here that was pretty solid last year, 14.4 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and a steal in 29 minutes a game last year for Grady Dick. He's a guy that, yes, his efficiency wasn't the greatest, but he was taking much more difficult shots than he was in his rookie season. Ochai Agbaji's another guy here, averaged 10.4 points on 50-40 efficiency. That's exactly what you're looking for out of your wings. A 3-and-D guy they can bring off of the bench that can clamp up and also be a dead eye from deep. Jamison Battle was a really, really good UDFA that they picked up. And then their first rounder last year, Jacoby Walter, had a very underrated season. He's going to be just 20 years old next year, as he was a one-and-done at Baylor, and he averaged almost 9 points per game, 3.1 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and 0.8 steals in just 21 minutes. Very limited action, but he was out there getting buckets, and maybe he's a guy that you can throw into this Kevin Durant trade if you really wanted to. Shot 41% from the field and 35% from 3 on 4 attempts. Have definitely seen worse from rookie guards. That is not bad whatsoever. Rookie guards usually shoot horrifically from beyond the arc, so he's going to be another good depth piece you can bring in off the bench next year. And like I said, I honestly like this Raptors young core. I just continue to develop it instead of going out and trying to make a splash and trade for Kevin Durant and keep RJ Barrett. I don't know. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Raptors fans, what would you like to see down in the comment section below? With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.